Senator from Sumter.
Mr. President and gentlemen of the Senate, I want to make some remarks about my friend Senator Ryberg, Senator from Aiken. I have a high regard for Senator Ryberg for two reasons. The first is that he and I average 6 feet in height, and that's the only way I've been able to make any headway in that regard. But the second is that in the last few years we have worked together on some very difficult and demanding issues, and it turns out we're more alike than different. Not necessarily in what we believe, although I don't think the differences are that great, but in the way we approach it. And it's been fun to deal with issues that we understand digital, but have a human component. And Senator Ryberg understands both of those. And whether we agreed or disagreed wasn't the case. We came up with a conclusion. There's an old notion that if you add, if you lay all the economists in the world head to toe, what will they reach? Well, I don't know, but there won't be a conclusion. But we reached conclusions on important matters. And we reached conclusions on difficult matters, and he was the key. He was the key, and his able staff, Dr. Varrett, and others, and our able staff. And I'm so delighted that you recognized Ms. Gray, because she is an asset to all of us. But I also am particularly delighted that you acknowledged with great feeling the people with whom you work. I would have expected nothing less. I just wanted to rise to say that Senator Ryberg and I haven't always agreed, but if you value our opinion, his and mine collectively, you can find us at the CVS on Tuesday morning, right down the street here, and we will be happy to share our opinions with you sometime in extended manners. I leave here with ambivalence, but I know that one of the things I will try to continue to do is my dialogue with Senator Land, Senator Shoopman, who I don't know well enough but would like to know better, Senator Anderson, Senator Elliott, all the ones who are leaving because, as I said earlier, of the common experience that we have. But my experience has been made better by having worked with Senator Ryberg, and I appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
Senator from Anderson, Senator Bryant. Senator from Anderson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be very brief. I know it's getting late. I just wanted to rise to thank the Senator from Aiken for reaching out to me even before I took my oath of office as a candidate, as a freshman, as a backbencher. We appreciate you. A few things that he does very consistently that I haven't quite been able to do, but I'm trying, is when a unanimous consent request is made, in one motion he could stand up, grab the mic with one hand, raise his hand with the other, and yell, "I object." I'm working on it, but I can't do that in one motion. I appreciate your leadership on LCI. It's my favorite committee. I appreciate the faith you've put in me, especially the DEW 45 and counting scenarios. I don't know if that was an award or if that was punishment for something, but we worked it out, and I thank you for that. What you see is what you get with Senator Ryberg, and I'm glad his sweetheart is here, but I want to tell you something maybe no one in this room knows except for a few of us, and Betty, you'll appreciate this. When he hits the road, when he goes down to his car for Aiken, he takes his iPod out. I think there's only one song on it, and he thinks of his sweetheart back home because this song has a phrase, "Her lips are sweet like honey," and he puts on Wolverton Mountain as he goes from Columbia back to Aiken to see his sweetheart. Senator from Aiken, we appreciate you. You've got some Big shoes to fill, but we're going to try. We're going to try very hard. Thank you very much.
Senator from Clarendon.
Mr. President, gentlemen of the Senate, I couldn't let this opportunity go by. I think probably over the years that Senator Ryberg and I have been on the different sides of most issues that come before the Senate. But we'd never let that interfere with our friendship and a good laugh between us. And Senator, I want you to know that I appreciate very, very much your service. And you have the courage of your convictions. Plus, you are a great intellect. You are a very, very smart person. And you have seen issues that would harm this state long before the rest of us saw them. And you never had any timidity in pointing them out. And I just want you to know that I enjoyed serving with you. I really have. And I have great respect and admiration for you. And I started doubting my own constitution and my own beliefs and everything when for the last couple of years, Mrs. Ryberg, we started voting together more and more. And I didn't know whether it was me moving towards Senator from Aiken or Senator Aiken coming towards me. So I didn't know which one it was. But we've truly had a wonderful time serving together. And I think I'm a better person by having known you and having served with you and having debated you and been on different sides with you and now of late on the same side on issues. But the people of South Carolina owe you a great debt of gratitude for what you've done. And I'm sorry to see you go. But you know, and as I leave, when people tell me congratulations, you know, I kind of stop and think exactly what that means and what they mean by that. But I say congratulations to you. And Betty, you work him hard now when you get him home, and you make him go anywhere you want him to go at any time. And like I've been telling Marie for all these 38 years, after the session, that won't sell anymore. So you're going to have to come up with a different excuse in the future, because the session is over for you and for me. And we're a better state because you chose to serve. And I love you, brother. God bless you. Thank you.
Senator from Lexington.
Mr. President, I'll be brief. Senator from Aiken, the High School League wanted to speak at your retirement, but we told them they couldn't. It's been my pleasure to serve with you on the Aiken delegation during your entire service in the Senate. And I want to say to you that I've enjoyed my service with you, and particularly over the last several years where you and I have gotten to know each other much better and worked on some very, very difficult issues together and come out with what I think were solutions that were best for the people of South Carolina. I thank you for your leadership on those issues. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. You have taught me, and I hope we have taught each other, the differences that can come together and reach a solution that's beneficial to all. I wish you well, and I hope I get to see you in Aiken on a regular basis. God bless you.
Senator from Moree.
Mr. President, I want to address my almost seatmate from my seat, and I want to be dead level honest with you and your wife that for the first few years that we served together, I did not like you. And I think I'm speaking for more of us in this room than have spoken already. But I want to tell you, I have always respected you. And the facial hair, I think, might have put me off. Your wife, for years, I know, tried to tell you to take that thing off. I don't know if that's so, but I want to tell you that throughout, I have always respected you. And I have grown to like you more than I ever believed I would. And so I thank your wife, perhaps for making you and perhaps for opening my eyes. So it has been a real pleasure. He and I are Republicans. Now, he ran as a Republican, of course, the first time. I didn't, but perhaps he would say I saw the light. But it has been a pleasure serving with you. and seeing your perspective. And I think perhaps Senator from Clarendon, he has maybe moved just a touch your way. But you might have moved a heck of a lot more his. Anyway, thank you. And Betty, thank you both for being friends and great mentor material. This guy right here.
Senator from Richland. My purpose.
Mr. President, Senator from Aiken, you and I and Senator from Horry are a part of that class of 1993, Senator from Lancaster. And you and I were seatmates for the first 4 years. And the complete opposite of my good friend, the Senator from Horry, I liked you day one. The problem was nobody understood why I liked you day one. And my friends kept asking me, why do you like that guy? I says, well, I figured it out. I says, I love Betty, okay? And if Betty can find enough good in him to marry him, then he has to be a good guy. And I would tell you that we will miss you, and you've always been a good friend, and you have always kept your word. And I could say this about you. We have disagreed on a lot of issues. We sit next to each other and canceled each other out for 4 years. But never once did you get angry or did you take anything personal. So we will miss you. May God bless you. Betty, enjoy your time together. Okay.
Senator from Orangeburg.
Back in my seat there for good many years now, and I used to sit next to Senator from Chester, Senator Short, and when she left, I had really sort of been coveting an aisle seat, and I said, well, I know the Senator from Chester is leaving, I'm going to get this aisle seat, I'm going to wait my turn, and I'm going to pick, and I'm going to get this seat. Senator from Aiken wandered over, and he said, now, where do you sit? And I said, well, I sit right here, and I showed him where I sat, but I didn't say where I wanted to sit, and he said, well, I'm going to pick this seat, and he picks ahead of me, of course, and I said, oh, okay, you're going to pick that seat. So then I started thinking to myself, well, if he's going to pick that seat, then maybe I will go ahead and move to the second row, or maybe I'll move over here. And I was asking him, I said, well, why are you picking that seat? And he said, I wanted to come sit by you. I said, well, okay, then I won't move. I'll stay right there. And so even though I had a chance to move on up to the second row, I said, you know what, I'm going to sit right there. And we have become good friends over the time that we've sat together as part of the Big East Caucus. He from Marquette and I from Georgetown, and we call each other and commiserate during basketball season a lot. I was on a ski trip earlier this year, and Marquette was just beating up on Louisville tremendously, it looked like, and I texted him at halftime, and my son said, what are you doing? I said, I'm texting Senator from Aiken and letting him know Marquette's doing a great job. Of course, Louisville came back and beat him in the end. I had to call him up later and commiserate with him. But we're going to miss those good times, talking about Big East basketball side by side, but I'm sure we'll still communicate about that. And Betty, I know y'all are going to have a wonderful time. He has more time to spend with you and the rest of the family. We're really going to miss him up here. But there's one thing about him we're not going to miss. And I actually have prepared a little certificate. And Senator from Aiken, if you'll come up, we need to present this to you. Because we know as you go, this will be the end. This is actually entitled a Certificate of Death. And it reads like this: let it be known to all men that the horse on which the High School League Constitution rode suffered a long and painful death upon the floor of the South Carolina Senate at the hands of the Honorable Greg Ryberg, and shall from this day forward be spoken of no more. Signed, Glenn McConnell and Jeff Gossett. And I want you to have this certificate. and may the High School League Constitution rest in peace.
Brad, I don't know if you know this, but I ran into him out in the lobby today, and I told him it was dead. Okay, he said that he was going to put me on the bass fishing advisory committee, and I said, don't do that because they'll think I got bought out by y'all, so they're not going to do it.